If your food cost looks different every time you check it, you may not have a food cost problem. You may have a discipline problem, a process problem, and a training problem all dressed up as bad math. Because the formula is not usually the problem. The behavior behind the formula is. Hey there, Restaurant Pro. This is Dave Scott Peters, restaurant expert, coach, and creator of the Restaurant Prosperity Formula. Today, we're going to talk about why your restaurant food cost is always wrong. And before you blame your POS, your accountant, your chef, your distributor, or Mercury being in retrograde, let's get honest. Your numbers are only as good as the systems behind them. Garbage in, garbage out. And in restaurants, garbage data can look very official. It can come in clean reports with neat columns exported from expensive software and still be completely useless. That's the part that gets restaurant pros in trouble. They think because the number came from a system, it must be true. Not if the process feeding the system is broken. Here's the symptom. You run food cost and it says one thing. Then your manager runs it and it says something else. Then your accountant sends a report and now you have a completely different number, a third number completely different. You compare it to what you thought it should be, and none of these make sense. So you start asking the wrong questions. Is pricing the problem? Is theft the problem? Is my chef overportioning? Is the distributor killing me? Any of these things could be a part of the story. But many times the real problem is much simpler and much more annoying. The process is inconsistent, and inconsistent processes create unreliable numbers. Let's talk about the misdiagnosis. A lot of restaurant pros think food cost is a math issue. It's not. The math is the easy part. Beginning inventory plus purchases minus ending inventory equals my cost of goods sold, my use. That part is not rocket science. Nobody's sending a dishwasher to NASA over this. The problem is the behavior behind the numbers. Was inventory taken on the same day every week? Was it taken at the same time? Were products counted the same way? Were invoices entered correctly? Were credits captured? Were transfers recorded? Were waste sheets used? Were key items tracked? Was one person guessing while another was counting carefully? Because that's where the numbers get wrecked. You don't need better math. You need better discipline. And that's the hard truth for restaurant pros, because discipline sounds boring. Because discipline is what separates a restaurant that hopes it made money from a restaurant that knows where the money went. When food cost is wrong, it creates a chain reaction. You don't trust the number. Because you don't trust the number, you don't act on it. Because you don't act on it, the team doesn't change behavior. Because the team doesn't change behavior, the same problems keep repeating. Then the next report comes, and it comes out wrong again. And now everyone shrugs. That shrug is dangerous. That shrug says, we don't really believe our numbers. Once your managers stop believing the numbers, accountability dies. You can't coach from a number nobody trusts. Let me give you a few coaching insights. First, inventory has to happen the same time, the same way every period. If one week you count Sunday night after you close, the next Monday morning after prep starts, and that next week, whenever somebody remembers, your numbers are going to lie to you. Not because the formula is broken, because your rhythm is broken. Consistency matters more than perfection. A lot of restaurant pros delay inventory because they want it to be perfect that time. The perfect person, the perfect software, the perfect calm moment in the restaurant. Good luck with that. This is a restaurant. Calm moments are not a business model. You need a standard rhythm that survives the chaos. Same day, same time, same method, same expectations. That's it. Second, you need accurate counting system. That means the same unit of measure, the same count sheet, the same shelf-to-sheet process, the same expectations. If one person counts a case, another counts pounds, another counts eaches, and somebody writes half a box-ish, congratulations. You've built a fantasy novel, not an inventory system. You need clarity. A count sheet is not just a list of products. It's a training tool. It tells your managers what matters, how to count it, and what standard to follow. If the sheet is confusing, outdated, or organized in a way that makes no sense compared to with what your shelves are, you're inviting mistakes. And here's the part most people miss. The easier the system is to follow, the more likely your team will follow it. Complexity is where consistency goes to die. Third, assign ownership of the process. Not everyone helps. Everyone helps often means no one owns it. You need one person responsible for the process, the rhythm, the accuracy, and the follow-through. That does not mean only one person ever learns it. In fact, you should train at least two people so the system doesn't collapse when one person is off, sick, promoted, or quits. But ownership matters. Ownership means someone knows the deadline. Someone knows the standard. Someone checks the work. Someone follows up on missing invoices. Someone asks why shredded cheese number looks strange. Someone notices waste is not being recorded. Without ownership, food cost becomes a monthly mystery. And mysteries are fun for television. They're terrible for restaurants. Fourth, separate actual food cost from theoretical food cost. Your theoretical food cost tells you what your food cost should have cost based on sales mix and recipes. But your actual food cost tells you what it did cost you based on inventory and purchases. The gap between those two numbers is where the coaching happens. The gap may point to waste, overportioning, theft, bad recipes, inaccurate counts, unrecorded comps, transfers, poor prep habits, or pricing issues. But if your actual numbers are sloppy, the gap becomes useless. You can't coach from bad data. This is where a lot of restaurant pros get frustrated. They want the report to tell them what to do. But the report can only point you in the direction. The coaching comes from asking better questions. Why did produce jump? Why did proteins move? Why is theoretical cost higher than actual? Why did waste spike this week? Why did the key item tracker show more usage than sales would have suggested? That is where you find the operational truth. Fifth, create a weekly rhythm. Food cost is not something you look at once a month after the damage is done. Weekly review gives you speed. It lets you catch problems while they are still small. That's where tools like your waste tracker and the key item tracker matter. Your waste tracker tells you what's being thrown away. Your key item tracker helps you monitor the key products that can move your food costs fast. These are not paperwork exercises. These are control tools. A waste tracker is not making your kitchen team feel more like they're in trouble every time a tomato hits the trash. It's about patterns. Are we over prepping? Are we burning product? Are we trimming poorly? Are we holding too much? Are we ordering without looking at the actual usage? A key item tracker does the same thing for products that matter the most. It helps us inspect what we expect and make sure that these products don't get stolen. It gives you early warning signals. And restaurant pros need early warning signals because until the end of the month, when you look at things, it's too late. By then, the profit is already gone. These two systems are daily, in the moment, proactive. Now let's tie this back to leadership and systems. If your food cost is always wrong, your people are they're not failing because they're bad people. They're failing because the system allows inconsistency. And when the system allows inconsistency, your managers make it up as they go. One person counts this way, another enters invoices that way, another skips waste tracking because it was a busy night. Then you look at the report and wonder why it's garbage. Well, restaurant pro, garbage doesn't magically become useful because it came out of software. The software can only report what you fed that system. That's why coaching matters. Because most restaurant pros are too close to the chaos to see the broken process. They think they need a better report. They think they need a better POS. They think they need better or more information. What they need first is discipline, a rhythm, a standard, a trained manager, a clear owner of the process, and accountability every single week. This is also where leadership matters. If you treat inventory like an annoying chore, your managers will treat it like an annoying chore. If you treat food costs like a number only you care about, your managers will not own it. But if you teach the why, train the process, and review the results consistently, you create managers who understand that these systems protect the business. They protect jobs. They protect bonuses. They protect growth. They protect your ability to invest in the team. Food costs is not just accountability, it's leadership in numbers. Restaurant Pro, if your food cost is always wrong, stop chasing the number and start fixing the system behind the number. Same day, same time, same process, same expectations. Train the people, own the rhythm, review the results, coach the gaps, because you don't need better math, you need better discipline. And once the discipline is in place, the number finally becomes useful. Then food cost stops being a mystery and starts becoming a management tool. That's when you can actually do something with it. There's one number that's quietly killing your restaurant profits, and most owners don't even know what it should be. It's your prime cost. And right now, most restaurants are running at least 15 points higher than they should be, which means you're working harder and making less than you deserve. If you're tired of being stuck in your restaurant, tired of inconsistent or non-existent profits, then it's time to find out what's really going on. I invite you to book a free 30-minute restaurant profit finder call with my team, where you'll uncover exactly what's eating your profits and what it's costing you every single month. Just click the link in the description to get started.